I remember the day it all shattered. I stood in the packed lecture hall, a sea of disapproving faces, my colleagues, my mentors, the very people I had looked up to for years, all staring me down as if I were some kind of walking embarrassment. My colleagues had laughed, a derisive chorus echoing off the walls when I presented my research on soil microbiology as a solution to climate change. Soil? Really? They'd said, their voices dripping with disdain. You think this backward science has any merit? I can still hear my father's deep voice cutting through the laughter like a knife. You're wasting your time on these ridiculous fantasies. Focus on something real, son. This is an embarrassment to our family. Embarrassment. That word clung to me like a heavy fog, suffocating my resolve. I left the academic world that day, not because I agreed, but because I was determined to prove them wrong. I dove headfirst into regenerative farming, a field seen as obsolete by technocrats who scoffed at anything that didn't involve innovative gadgets or high-tech solutions. Instead, I saw beauty in the dirt, in the hidden life teeming beneath our feet. Over the next few years, I immersed myself in this world. My hands became calloused, my knees perpetually muddy, but every setback fueled my fire. I faced abandoned fields, scorched earth, and the skepticism of those around me. I remember laying down at night, covered in soil, the weight of doubt pressing down on my chest. Was I really enough? But slowly, almost imperceptibly, the land began to transform. Using techniques grounded in ecological principles, I coaxed life back into the barren soil. I worked with nature rather than against it, harnessing the power of microbes to restore ecosystems that had been forgotten. I remember the first time I saw green sprouting from a patch of lifeless land. It was as though I was witnessing a miracle. Years crawled by, each season bringing new challenges, yet my vision gradually crystallized into something tangible. I found allies, other farmers who shared my dream, scientists who believed in my work, and communities eager to embrace sustainable practices. Word spread about my approach, and soon enough, I was invited to speak at conferences and workshops. I was no longer the laughingstock of academia. I was carving a niche that had the potential to heal our planet. Fast forward to the present. I pulled into my childhood home, a modest house surrounded by sprawling fields. My heart raced as I stepped out of my truck, the scent of rich earth mingling with the faint aroma of my childhood. I was back. Not as the failure they had seen, but as someone who had turned their dreams into thriving realities. As I walked toward the front door, unease gripped me. My family still lived in that space, replaying our past like a broken record. I had come back, but would they see the change? Would they finally understand? The door swung open, revealing my mother first. Her eyes widened, disbelief playing on her face. You look different," she stammered. The rest of my family stood behind her, their expressions shifting from surprise to guarded skepticism. "So you decided to return to the family farm?" my father asked, his tone cautious, yet there was an edge of curiosity. "What now? More ridiculous plans?" I took a deep breath and gestured toward the fields behind the house. "I want to show you something," I said. They followed me, a mix of skepticism and intrigue etched on their faces. As we walked, I shared stories of the transformations I had achieved. I spoke of the barren lands I had turned into lush pastures teeming with life, the farms I had helped revive, and the communities I had empowered. The farther we walked, the more the tension rose, crackling in the air around us. Finally, we reached the edge of my small regenerative farm. The sight before us was breathtaking. Fields bursting with vibrant colors, flowers dancing in the breeze, and the hum of life that surrounded us. I could see the disbelief on their faces as they absorbed the reality of what I had created. How is this possible?" my mother whispered. Microbes, I replied, emotion thick in my throat. They're the unsung heroes, the life force that binds everything together beneath our feet. I've learned to listen to the soil, to restore its health, and in doing so to restore our planet. I turned to my family, the weight of years of derision hanging between us. I don't want you to feel ashamed of me, I continued, my voice strong yet vulnerable. I want you to understand that this isn't just about me. It's about healing our Earth, and I need you to see how much we can achieve when we believe in something. This isn't ridiculous, it's vital. For a moment, silence hung in the air. Then, as if the very earth had shifted, my father stepped forward, his gaze softening. I can see it now. You've built something incredible. In that moment, a wave of catharsis washed over us, stitching years of pain into a newfound understanding. My family stood in awe, their past ridicule fading into the background as they finally grasped the magnitude of my journey. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light over my thriving fields, I felt a surge of hope. We had all changed in some way. I had learned to trust my instincts, to find my path in the dirt, while they had begun to understand the true power of dreams, no matter how ridiculous they seemed. We stood together, a family silhouetted against the promise of a new dawn. The laughter of disbelief had transformed into a quiet reverence for the land, the lessons it had taught us, and the future we could nurture together. In that moment, I felt whole, and I knew we were all ready to grow together.